We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Campaigning for the sixth phase of India's general elections to rest today. Fate of 889 candidates contesting across 8 states and union territories to be locked on 25th of May. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi to be laid to rest on Thursday while leaders expressed their condolences. Israel condemns European nations' Palestinian state recognition. Netanyahu says the move would reward terror. US calls for two-state solution through direct talks. China begins military drill around Taiwan just days after Lai Ching-te took over as the island's new president. Drills serve as a stern warning against the interference and provocation by external forces. And climate change fueling a surge in extreme weather events across the planet. Heat waves pummeling across Asia, including North India. Floods in Serbia and Brazil affecting lives. First, let's get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. Election campaigning for the sixth phase of India's general elections to conclude in the evening today. The sixth phase polling is all set to take place on May 25th in 57 constituencies. The sixth phase will cover 8 states and union territories. In this phase, a total of 889 candidates are in fray. Also, polling will be conducted in Jammu and Kashmir's Anantnag-Rajouri Lok Sabha constituency. Last month, the Election Commission of India revised the polling date in the Anantnag-Rajouri Lok Sabha seat from 7th of May to 25th of May due to logistical, communication and natural barriers related to connectivity. The counting of votes for all polls will be done on the 4th of June. And campaigning for the sixth phase of general elections to conclude today, political parties geared up to woo voters in their respective favours. Bharatiya Janata Party leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Haryana, where he will be holding rally in Mahendragarh district. Later in the day, Prime Minister to hold public meeting in Patiala district of Punjab. Senior BJP leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah to visit Uttar Pradesh today, where he will be holding rally in Ambedkar district of the state. In a bid to woo voters, BJP National President JP Nadda to visit Odisha and hold public meetings in Mayurbhanj, Bhadrak, Jaipur and Jagat Singhpur district of the state. Well, in order to garner support in party's favour, opposition also holding rallies across the states. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi to hold public rally at northeast Delhi in support of Indie Bloc candidate Kanhaiya Kumar. Later in the day, Rahul Gandhi will also campaign for party candidate Udit Raj in northwest Delhi. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi to hold roadshow in Sirsa district in the western region of the Indian state of Haryana. Samajwadi Party Supremo Akhilesh Yadav to hold several rallies in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Bahujan Samaj Party Chief Mayawati to hold rallies in Mirzapur district of Uttar Pradesh and Buxar of Bihar. And to get more updates, we are now joined by our correspondent Akshay Dongre from Delhi. Well, Akshay, good morning. Campaigning for the phase 6 of the Lok Sabha polls will end today. All 7 Lok Sabha seats in Delhi will be going to polls on the 25th of May. Can you now give us an overall of the last-minute attempts by parties to woo the voters here?
Well, Lipakshi, you just mentioned about the star campaigners from the Congress and other parties holding rallies for their candidates in their respective constituencies in a bid to push the voters, in fact, in a bid to put the cadre of the party as well and the voters to give a last push as far as the campaigning is concerned. Now, all of these seats that are in Delhi, all 7 of them are hotly contested. It's not just one seat, because this time around, it's not just a tripolar contest. This has become a bipolar contest, a straight fight between the Bharatiya Janata Party that has been winning all the 7 seats of Delhi for the last 2 consecutive elections, and now a fight between the former 2 rivals, that is the Congress Party and the Aam Aadmi Party, who have joined forces, divided seats in Delhi, with 4 seats being contested by the Aam Aadmi Party and 3 seats being contested by the Congress Party. And even though the Bharatiya Janata Party has won all the 7 seats in the last 2 elections, you cannot actually ignore the fact that in Delhi's Legislative Assembly, it is the Aam Aadmi Party that rules the city, the National Capital Territory, and it is the Congress Party that has been ruling Delhi ahead of the Aam Aadmi Party came to power, and they, in a way, removed them from power after the 2012, the protest that took place, the massive anti-corruption drive that was started by the Aam Aadmi Party. That drive was started against the rule of Congress as well, and now these 2 former rivals have joined forces. In fact, it is the Aam Aadmi Party that has removed Congress from power in Punjab as well, and not just in Delhi. So both of these powerhouses coming together just to battle the Bharatiya Janata Party is going to be a very interesting fight. And the choice of candidates has also been interesting by both the parties. So it remains to be seen that what exactly the people of Delhi will be deciding as far as the elections are concerned. But given the fact that this is a Lok Sabha election, usually in Delhi, while the local elections focus on local issues, the national elections focus on the national issues. So that is going to be a big worry for the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, because their campaign has largely been on local issues as well.
All right.
While there have been certain issues that they have taken at the national level too, but for the BJP, it has been mostly about a vision for a developed India and national issues that they have been preaching for these elections.
Right. Also, Akshay, as a run-up to the 6th phase, Delhi metro services on all lines are to begin at 4 a.m. on the 25th of May. What all preparations do you see around?
Well, first of all, the security arrangements have to be airtight as far as Delhi is concerned. This is National Capital Territory. A lot of bigwigs, a lot of senior politicians will be coming and casting their vote to the polling booths. There has to be absolute arrangements as far as the security is concerned. Transportation has to be running smooth. A lot of people will be taking the time off to go and cast their vote. So the government will also have to ensure that transportation services, other services are running smoothly. And as you have mentioned, metro services will be beginning at 4 a.m. That is to ensure that voters get best transportation services. So they do not have to worry about that in terms of traveling from one place to another in the scorching heat in Delhi, where the temperatures are reaching around 47.5 degrees Celsius. That it took place in Nazafgarh when Delhi was the hottest city, or the hottest place anywhere in India on that day rather. So under these circumstances, the voting will take place, and it has to be seen that how many people will be coming out, because the Election Commission of India has been, in fact, has been asking people to come out and cast their vote, exercise their right, and fulfill their responsibility as well.
All right, Akshay, thank you so much for that update from there. And now let's have a look at the electoral battle of Azamgarh in Uttar Pradesh. DD India correspondent Deepika Mehto gives us a detailed report.
The coming 25th of May, the voters of Azamgarh have to really make a very tough decision. There are interesting candidates on this seat. From BJP, you have Dinesh Lal Yadav, who's also known as Nirua, the famous celebrity. While on the other hand, you have Dharmendra Yadav from Samajwadi Party, who's also a very close aide of Akhilesh Yadav. Now, the question here is the question of prestige over this particular seat of Azamgarh. While there are political banters which are continuously ongoing between both the parties, the BJP as well as the SP, it remains to be seen that who win the hearts of the voters coming the 25th of May.
The political fight is getting hotter in Azamgarh. Back-to-back rallies, late-night campaigning with a touch of music to elaborate the festivity of democracy is a common scene here. The UP belt voters are a huge fan of Nirawa. aka Dinesh Lal Yadav, who's candidate from BJP here. He may have lost 2019 Lok Sabha elections, but he is more confident this time.
आजमगढ़ में अब भगोड़े नेता लोगों के लिए जगह नहीं है और वो दोनों भाई भगोड़े हैं। 19 में जीते तो अखिलेश यादव जी भाग गए, 22 में हारे तो धर्मेंद्र भाग गए और ये लोग कभी आजमगढ़ दिखाई दिए नहीं। तो आजमगढ़ की जनता को ऐसे भगोड़ों पे भरोसा नहीं है। आजमगढ़ में जब कोई आदमी हारने के बाद भी रह रहा था और जीतने के बाद भी रहा, तो ही इनको भरोसा हुआ कि ये अब हमको आदमी मिला है जो यहाँ रह के काम कर रहा है। तो इसलिए आजमगढ़ की जनता खुद ही कह रही है कि हम लोग आपको इस बार और बड़े अंतर से जिताएंगे।
While BJP's Nirawa believes that SP candidate Dharmendra is a fugitive, on the other hand, Dharmendra Yadav, a seasoned MP from Azamgarh, says that BJP's candidate Dinesh is an accidental MP.
उनको देख लिया लोगों ने, एक्सीडेंटल एमपी हैं, देख लिया लोगों ने, नाप लिया आजमगढ़ के लोगों ने, अब मौका नहीं मिलेगा दोबारा।
Well, the political banters continue as the campaigning picks up pace, but what is even more interesting is to see how the political rallies are entertaining everyone. A class 5 student is leaving no stone unturned to use this platform as his singing podium, appealing all the voters.
Political banters continue, but the festival of democracy is also continuing unabatedly. You can see behind me the large number of people, the voters of respective parties have come here to celebrate. Whatever the soaring temperature is, the excitement is at its maximum level, is at its peak. So what happens on the 25th of May? That the voters will decide. But right now, the festival of democracy across India and especially in Azamgarh is at its peak. With camera person Sanjeev, this is Deepika reporting from Azamgarh for DD India.
Well, moving on, 2014 was a landmark year for Tibetans born in India. That year, they got voting rights in the country. As Delhi prepares to go to polls on Saturday, DD India's Anu Kaushik spoke with Tibetans living in the city to get a grasp of their issues and expectations in the 2024 general elections.
This is Majnu Ka Tila, or the new Arunanagar colony in the Indian capital of New Delhi. It comes under the Chandni Chowk Lok Sabha constituency. The area, which houses a Tibetan refugee settlement, has a population of over 3,000. Its residents first came to India in the late 1950s after the Chinese invasion of Tibet. But it was only in 2014 that Tibetans got voting rights in India. Notwithstanding the small size of their electorate, locals here are vocal about their expectations from leaders in the 2024 general elections. Some want the incumbent Narendra Modi-led government to return to power owing to its policies for development.
मोदी जी दोबारा बनेंगे तो भारत का तरक्की जरूर होगा लग रहा है।
बीजेपी का जो सरकार है आउटर लेयर्स देकर एज ए लाइक भारत देश के मुकाबला काफ़ी इंडिया आगे आ चुका है।
While others want their political representatives to address civic issues.
यमुना की साइड से जो रोड दिखते हैं, रोड में थोड़ा सा बना कच्चा वच्चा ऐसे पूरी तरह से बना नहीं है, उसको हम बनाने का अनुरोध कर रहे हैं।
For women in this colony, issues like safety and government schemes have gained prominence.
दिल्ली में बचपन से बैठे यहाँ पे थोड़ी सेफ्टी नहीं है, ऐसे यंग लड़के लोग बेले लोग ऐसे है, सेफ्टी ऐसे नहीं है, ये थोड़ा सही करो।
मोदी जी अच्छा है, सब कुछ जो करता है ना, सब हर चीज़ ध्यान करता है। अभी गैस भी कम हो गया ना है ना, इसीलिए अच्छा है।
In 2013, a Karnataka High Court ruling led to the issuance of an Indian passport to a Tibetan born in India. The ruling also paved the way for granting Indian citizenship to Tibetans born in the country between 1950 and 1987. In light of the ruling, the Election Commission issued a directive to enroll Tibetans born in the specified timeline in the electoral rolls. Meanwhile, local leaders are optimistic that the number of Tibetan voters will rise in the subsequent elections.
वोटर कार्ड बनाने की इच्छुक यहाँ पे सब है, अब थोड़ा सा जागरूक हो रहा है। अब इस इलेक्शन ना हो तो अगले इलेक्शन में जरूर तादाद ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे।
From foreign policy to infrastructure, a range of issues have taken the center stage for Tibetans, a community in which political awareness is on the rise. With camera person Mohit Joshi, this is Anu Kaushik reporting for DD India from Majnu Ka Tilla in New Delhi.
And still to come in DD India News Hour. We'll get you the latest update on the Porsche car crash in Pune, killing 2 on spot. We'll also bring you a special report on eatable betel leaves, especially from the Indian state of West Bengal. And India celebrates Buddha Purnima with full fervour. Devotees take holy dip to mark the festival.
We are in Cannes, the famous city on the French Riviera. The 77th edition of the Cannes Film Festival is here. So soak into 12 days of world cinema and the hottest fashion trends. The famous 24 steps leading to the Palais des Festivals, where most of the cinema at this festival is screened, are beckoning. Join me, Munmun Bhattacharya, as I take you through all the buzz around the festival and on India's participation in it, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khuranan. Moving on, betel leaves and conversation do not go together. But there is one eatable that has a pan-India appeal, and it is the pan. The fascination for betel leaf extends across the country. DD India correspondent travels to the countryside in the Indian state of West Bengal to bring you this special report.
70 kilometers from the town of Midnapur in West Bengal, Salikotha village has the highest production of betel leaf. The cultivation of the betel vine is quite unusual and needs good care and hard work. Under a thatched roof made of weeds, Sudeep works very hard to keep the leaves in good shape. The crop has to be protected from the heat and direct sunlight and needs to be watered every second day.
The cultivation requires lot of hard work. My whole family helps me in this. I earn around 50,000 rupees from it.
From the village of Salikotha, the leaves reach the town of Midnapur. This wholesale market in Midnapur is known for betel leaves trade. The leaves have to be sprinkled with water time and again to retain the moisture and the freshness of the leaves. Manik has been selling the pan for generations. Kolkata ka pan, or the betel leaf of Kolkata, is very popular in India.
I sell it for 10 rupees. People love Calcutta ka pan.
Garnished with betel nuts, cinnamon and cherries, this pan is now ready to tickle your taste buds. This betel leaf or pan has 10 ingredients. It is very popular in the Indian society. It is good as a mouth freshener and also good for your digestion. Absolutely quite a freshener. With cameraman Piyush in Midnapur, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
Well, all is set for the 6th phase of polling in the state of Odisha. The campaigning comes to an end at 5 p.m. on a Thursday, and voting will take place on Saturday. But as the countdown has begun for 25th May voting, an evolving weather pattern has caught the attention of the weathermen. The Bay of Bengal is witnessing a cyclonic circulation which could change to depression. It has raised limited concern as the path doesn't seem to be making a landfall in Odisha. On the contrary, the weather is slightly improving and it may be pleasant on the D-Day. Will the weather gods aid or disrupt the polling? DD India's Ravi Diman has this report.
As North India grapples with record heat, peninsular India is receiving warnings of heavy rains. Interestingly, two weather phenomena are developing along the eastern and western coast of India. Due to the formation of depression, a low-pressure area has been formed in southwest and adjoining west-central Bay of Bengal. According to the weathermen, this will further deteriorate toward cyclonic circulation by 24th of May. The subsequent days will be closely monitored by meteorological experts and the path of the formation keenly watched. Some areas of West Bengal and Balasore district of Odisha will receive heavy rainfall on 25th and 26th of May.
mostly over North Odisha. Light to moderate rainfall very likely at many places in the district of North Odisha with isolated heavy rainfall activity. Mostly heavy rainfall is likely in the district of Balasore on 25th, and on 26th Baleshwar and Bhadrak likely to get isolated heavy rainfall activity.
People of Odisha, accustomed to cyclonic warnings and harsh weather hitting the coast, are least perturbed this time. The weather pattern in the Bay of Bengal has brought in welcome sight of clouds and some respite from sweltering heat. The situation is still evolving, and the IMD predicts light to moderate rains in North Odisha on 25th and 26th May. South Odisha, including places like Bhubaneswar, which are going to polls on 25th of May, can experience scanty rainfall, but the weather will turn a bit pleasant and mercury might drop down a few notches.
Cloudy weather will be there around 25th over the districts of South Odisha. Temperature will definitely go down by 25th. Weather will be comfortable.
So if the weather pattern proves true to the prediction, Odisha can look forward to a pleasant Saturday, and the fear of heat playing spoilsport has been reduced considerably. Of course, the situation is being monitored and the administration is prepared for any change of path. Month of May normally favors such formations as the heat wave combined with southwest monsoon create conducive conditions for these weather phenomena.
The developments in Bay of Bengal mean the weather is changing a little bit in Odisha, especially in Bhubaneswar and nearby areas. People of Odisha are used to weather vagaries. They have faced many challenges in the past too. But this time around, they are not unduly worried because the weatherman has predicted that it might not impact the state as much. However, fingers are crossed. Perhaps if on 25th the weather gods smile and give Odisha, particularly Bhubaneswar and nearby areas, a pleasant outlook, the fingers which are crossed might untangle to press the buttons on the EVM in large numbers. With camera person Sanjay Jaina, Ravi Dhiman in Bhubaneswar for DD India.
All right, but no signs of getting respite from the scorching heat. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued a red alert for several states in North India, including Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi and West Uttar Pradesh, as the region continues to experience severe heat wave conditions over the next few days. Meanwhile, a red alert issued in 5 districts of Kerala predicting extremely heavy rainfall. The IMD also predicted heavy rainfall in isolated parts of Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and Karaikal on Thursday. Apart from these regions, the Weather Department also predicted heavy rainfall in Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura on Sunday. And Buddha Purnima, the 2586th birth anniversary of Gautam Buddha, is being celebrated today. This day is celebrated across the world by Lord Buddha followers with great grandeur and enthusiasm. Lord Buddha also attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya on this special day. The day also holds a great religious significance in Hindu religion. Devotees visit sacred sites such as Bodh Gaya in Bihar, where Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree for prayers and meditation sessions led by monks. Also, India's President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi greeted the nation on the occasion of Buddha Purnima. In her message, President Murmu extended greetings to all fellow citizens and the followers of Lord Buddha spread all over the world. In his message, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar conveyed his congratulations and best wishes to the citizens and followers of Lord Buddha worldwide. Also, on the occasion, the Prime Minister recalled the principles of Lord Buddha and reiterated his commitment to fulfill them. Also, devotees in Nepal visited Maya Devi Temple in Lumbini on the occasion of Buddha Jayanti. Monks from India, Nepal and China perform rituals, sing hymns and give offerings in sacred garden of Maya Devi Temple. Peace procession is organized by several groups, including school children from different schools. Well, Buddha Jayanti or Lumbini Day celebrations took place at Lumbini Conference Hall in Nepal today. During the celebrations, Mahayan sect offered prayer. Prime Minister of Nepal, Pushpakamal Dahal, was also present during the occasion. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. The Juvenile Justice Board has cancelled the bail order of the 17-year-old teen who crashed a speeding Porsche into a motorbike, killing 2 people on the spot. He has been sent to observation home until 5th June. Fireworks and lamps illuminate the golden temple of the Prakash Parv of Guru Amar Das. This auspicious event marks the birth anniversary of Guru Amar Das, the 3rd Guru of Sikhism, who played a pivotal role in consolidating the Sikh community. Devotees gathered in large numbers to participate in the festivities. The Delhi Metro train services on all lines to start from 4 a.m. so that the staff deployed for election duty can avail of the facility. The trains will run at a frequency of 30 minutes on all the lines until 6 a.m. Local time after 6 a.m. normal metro train services will run throughout the day. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Ex-rival Nikki Haley says will vote for Trump. France's Macron visits New Caledonia to review the situation, says emergency imposed should not be prolonged. And US accuses Russia of launching space weapon into orbit. Kremlin denies the claims.
Hype versus facts. In-depth news and analysis with experts who will help you decide why this election matters. DD India is the main election headquarters with numbers most accurate, data most reliable, and viewership across the platforms. Stay tuned to the Great Indian Election only on weekdays at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
As India decides in the world's largest election,
we help you feel the pulse of the nation.
I am Sakal Bhatt.
I am Shubhendu Ghosh.
This election season, join us on a journey of India.
We are in Assam. This is the tea city of India.
From down south, Tamil Nadu.
Discover the colors of democracy.
Gateway to northeast of India.
Coastal state of Kerala. Watch Poll Pulse on DT India.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs. With a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Nepakshi Kuran, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Campaigning for the sixth phase of India's general elections to rest today. Fate of 889 candidates contesting across 8 states, union territories to be locked on the 25th of May. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi to be laid to rest on Thursday. World leaders expressed their condolences. China begins military drill around Taiwan just days after Lai Ching-te took over as the island's new president. Drills serve as a stern warning against the interference and provocation by external forces. While moving on, China on Thursday began 2 days of military drills around Taiwan. Chinese state media said that the Eastern Theater Command of the People's Liberation Army started the drills early on Thursday, adding that the drills are being conducted in the Taiwan Strait, the north, south and east of Taiwan, as well as areas around the islands of Kinmen, Matsu, Bukui and Tongjin. Military spokesperson Li Shi said that the joint exercises involving the Army, Navy, Air Force and Rocket Force were a strong punishment for the separatist acts in Taiwan. He also added that the drills would serve as a stern warning against the interference and provocation by external forces. Taiwan's defense ministry has condemned the drill, saying that it had dispatched forces to areas around the island and was confident it could protect its territory. And to get more on this, we are now joined by Laura Westbrook from Hong Kong. Well, Laura, China began 2 days of military drills around Taiwan and claims it to be a strong punishment. Beijing has also not ruled out the use of force to achieve its goal of unification and has reacted angrily to the inauguration of Lai. What more can you tell us about the whole situation?
Yes, China has called these drills punishment drills, and it says it's in response to what it calls separatist acts. Now, the People's Liberation Army say these drills involve the Navy, the Air Force, as well as rocket forces, and they include areas around Taiwan. And they are about joint readiness drills, which involve the air and the sea, as well as precision targets as well as involving precision targets. Now, Taiwan's response has been to say that it will vigorously gather intelligence. It will be watching what is done around these 2 days of joint readiness drills to see what intelligence it has gathered. The Defense Ministry has said that these drills are a provocation, and it is something that they have been expecting. Chinese officials, Taiwanese officials, according to reports, said they had been watching to see what kind of military activities China was going to be doing in the run-up to the inauguration of William Lai Ching-te, and the timing of this is important. These drills are taking place just 3 days after the new president, William Lai Ching-te, was inaugurated. Beijing views him as a dangerous separatist. They view him as being pro-independence, and we have seen rhetoric step up in the last few days. The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has said that William Lai is disgraceful and that independence will not, and calling him out for being pro-independence as well.
All right. Also, Laura, as you told us that Taiwan had been expecting this and it has placed its military on high alert in response to China's drills, which it described as irrational provocations, as you said. Where all this seems to be going?
Well, we heard from William Lai Ching-te in his inaugural speech on Monday, where he called on China to stop its political and military threats against Taiwan. He also said that he wanted to engage with dialogue rather than he wanted Beijing to engage in dialogue with him rather than confrontation. But Beijing views him as a separatist, so it's very unlikely that it will engage in any dialogue with William Lai. And This comes as Beijing has been increasing its military activities around Taiwan in the last couple of years. It has repeatedly rehearsed encircling Taiwan both in the air, in the sea. These are called grey zone tactics, which analysts say are tactics that fall between war and peace. And Beijing has been stepping up these types of activities in the past few years. Analysts have told me that this is a deliberate tactic by Beijing to put increasing pressure on Taiwan.
All right, between war and peace. Thank you so much, Laura, for that update from there. And moving on, Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi will be laid to rest on Thursday after funeral rites in his home city of Mashhad. Earlier, Iran's supreme leader led prayers in Tehran on Wednesday at the funeral of late President Ibrahim Raisi. Raisi's remains will be moved to South Khorasan province before being transferred to his home city in the northeast. Funeral rites for late President and others began on Tuesday in the city of Tabriz and the Shiite clerical center of Qom, where thousands of black-clad mourners attended the ceremony. 5 days of national mourning have been declared in the country. Also, leaders and officials from across the world offered their condolences on Wednesday in Tehran for the death of President Ibrahim Raisi and his companions. Dignitaries from over 50 countries, including India, Russia and Saudi Arabia, visited Tehran to pay tribute to Ibrahim Raisi, Hussein Amir Abdullahian and 7 other officials who were killed in a helicopter crash on May 19th. Tajikistan President Emomali Rahman, Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani, Qatar's Amir Tamim bin Hamam al-Thani and Tunisian President Kais Saied also paid tribute to the late Iranian president in Tehran. And we are now up on your screen. You can see the live shots from Tehran where the late president is being taken for the final rites. All right, moving on, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned Ireland, Spain and Norway's decision to recognize Palestinian statehood as a reward for terrorism following the October 7th attacks. In a video message, Netanyahu said rewarding terrorism will not bring peace and neither will it stop Israel from defeating Hamas.
The intention of several European countries to recognize a Palestinian state is a reward of terrorism. 80% of the Palestinians in Judea and Samaria support the terrible massacre of October 7. The evil cannot be given a state. This would be a terrorist state. It will try to repeat the massacre of October 7 again and again. We will not consent to this. Rewarding terrorism will not bring peace and neither will it stop us from defeating Hamas.
Well, U.S. President Joe Biden suggested that direct negotiations were the best way forward on Palestinian state and not through unilateral recognition. Acknowledging that each country could make its own decision on recognition of a Palestinian state, the White House stressed that President Biden believes that direct negotiations by the parties is the best approach. The comments came after Ireland, Spain and Norway said they would recognize a Palestinian state this month. Well, a series of blasts were heard in the Russian city of Belgorod, but no casualties were reported after a missile attack warning on Thursday morning. Russian air defense systems intercepted several projectiles near Belgorod after the missile attack warning. The Russian army controlled a settlement in Klistylivka of Donetsk region after it repelled the Ukrainian army's counter-attacks in multiple directions. Meanwhile, Ukraine claimed to have repelled Russia's military attacks over the last 24 hours, while Russia said it had taken control of a settlement in the Donetsk region. And former Republican presidential contender Nikki Haley said on Wednesday that she will vote for Donald Trump in the November election.
As a voter, I put my priorities on a president who's going to have the backs of our allies, and hold our enemies to account, who would secure the border, no more excuses. So I will be voting for Trump. Having said that, I stand by what I said in my suspension speech. Trump would be smart to reach out to the millions of people who voted for me and continue to support me, and not assume that they're just going to be with him. And I genuinely hope he does that.
Haley, who served as the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations for 2 years when Trump was in office, never seriously challenged the former president for the nomination, bidding only one state in the District of Columbia before ending her campaign. But her fierce attacks on Trump's character and competence in the final months of the campaign made Haley the standard bearer for the dwindling anti-Trump wing of the Republican Party. While Haley dropped her bid for the Republican presidential nomination in March, her name has remained on the ballot, and she still routinely wins well over 10% of the vote in the state-run primary contest, despite no longer campaigning. And amidst the unrest and riot at New Caledonia, French President Emmanuel Macron is visiting the Pacific island on Thursday. While briefing media, Macron said that security forces would remain in New Caledonia as long as necessary, adding that the state of emergency imposed in the Pacific island should not be prolonged. Macron will be in the island for a day of talks, during which he will aim to turn the page on deadly riots triggered by contested electoral reform. Macron's agenda will include meeting local elected officials as well as business leaders. The protesters are demonstrating against an electoral reform that they fear will dilute the votes of indigenous Kanaks, who make up 40% of the island's population. And moving on, the United States has accused Russia of launching a satellite that can attack other satellites orbiting the Earth. The Kremlin has denied the claims and said Moscow is not developing any sort of counter-space weaponry. Nick Harper reports for more from New York.
The claims come from US Space Command, which on Tuesday said a recent Russian rocket launch was carried out with the aim of putting an anti-satellite probe into orbit. The US called it a counter-space weapon that was capable of attacking other satellites in low Earth orbit. However, Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister described the claims as fake news, adding that Moscow's space policy had not changed and that it remained opposed to the deployment of strike weapons in low Earth orbit. The latest incident, however, follows similar denials in February that Russia was developing a space-based anti-satellite nuclear weapon, a weapon that could inspect and disrupt high-grade satellites, with the potential to hit foreign governments' military communications. Here in New York at the United Nations, the two countries have clashed in recent weeks. The issue of space weapons has come up several times, with both Washington and Moscow accusing the other of trying to militarize space. Both countries appear engaged in ways to strengthen security surrounding their space activities, the US trying to work with allies to look at building alliances for the sharing and development of the next generation of space technology. The fear is that space could become the next frontier for warfare between superpower nations. Nick Harper in New York, reporting for DD India.
Well, coming to some weather updates now. Mexico continued to sizzle on Wednesday after the weather officials announced the start of the country's third heat wave on Monday. The third heat wave of the season would continue across most of Mexico, with temperatures above 45 degrees Celsius forecasted in 9 states of the country. Mexico faces severe nationwide drought that has led to a worsening water crisis across much of the country, making water a key issue in the June general elections. Strong winds, hail and flash floods caused havoc across Serbia, with one person killed when a tree toppled onto her car. Flash flooding inundated several neighbors in the southern Serbia, where authorities declared a state of emergency. Torrential rain, coupled with hail and flash flooding, was also reported in several other areas, including the capital, Belgrade. Hail damaged property and crops in the Kosovo town of Hani Eles. Stranded for nearly 3 weeks by record flooding in southern Brazil, the Ministry of Brazil estimates the disaster has affected 30,000 people in Rio Grande do Sul. Heavy rains have battered Rio Grande do Sul since late April, causing historic floods that have killed over 160 people. Indigenous communities resist government calls to evacuate from sacred ancestral lands. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world today. A Michigan dairy worker has been diagnosed with bird flu, making it the second human case associated with an outbreak in the U.S. dairy cows. The officials further said that risk to the public remains low, but farm workers exposed to infected animals are at higher risk. A new multimedia exhibition opening in London explores the fusion between art and sound. One at the 180 Studios exhibition space in central London brings together more than 100 musicians and artists. Visitors can explore audiovisual installations by artists including Theaster Gates and many more. Exhibit to run until 28th of September. Cuban biochemist looks over a table swarming with silkworms. Hundreds of the cream-colored caterpillars squiggle across a bed of dark green mulberry to feed freshly plucked from plants just outside the laboratory. Artisans then use their silk to create homegrown products to sell to tourists and locals that benefit shopkeepers who own a small shop in Havana. And Thursday is a big day for India, the 77th edition of Cannes Film Festival. On the 10th day of the festival, the Indian director Payal Kabadia's All We Imagine As Light is screening in the main competition section and is thus a contender for Palme d'Or given to the director of the best film. Indian cinematographer Santosh Sivan will give a master class to Cannes delegates on Thursday, a day before being honoured with a pair en gros. This award is given every year at the festival as recognition of excellence in cinematography. The winner under the Last and F section of the festival will be announced on Thursday. In this section, FTII student Chindananda Naik's short film Sunflowers Were the First Ones to Know is competing against 17 other films. And now let's get more inputs from DD India correspondent Munmun Bhattacharya from Cannes. Well, Munmun, Thursday is a big day for India, the 77th edition of Cannes Film Festival, as Indian director Payal Kabadia's film will be screened in the main competition section contending for Palme d'Or. What is the level of excitement?
Well, the excitement is really sky high, Lipakshi. All We Imagine Is Light is an official selection in the Cannes Film Festival, and at the main competition section, it is the only time in the last 30 years that an Indian film has made it. The first screening of All We Imagine Is Light in the Cannes Film Festival is taking place today. And to tell you a little about Payal Kapadia, she has already won a lot of laurels because in 2021, her documentary won the Golden Eye Award here at the Cannes Film Festival. It's called The Night of Knowing Nothing. Then in the 70th edition of the Cannes Film Festival, that is 7 years back, her film Afternoon Clouds was selected for screening at the festival. Having said that, she is an FTII alumna, and this is an Indo-French co-production. This has also benefited from the incentive scheme of the Government of India meant for co-productions, under which 40% of cashback is allowed of the production cost. Besides that, her mother was among the first generation of video artists from India, and her works are exhibited in galleries around the world, including in the Museum of Modern Art in New York. So, Payal Kapadia is a celebrated director-writer. She has both written as well as directed all three of her works, A Night of Knowing Nothing, Afternoon Clouds, and All We Imagine Is Light. So expectations are high because she is in contention for Palme d'Or, which is given to the director of the best film. Those awards will be given out on the 25th of May.
Yes. All right. Fingers crossed there, Munmun. Also, the winner under the Last and F section of the festival will also be announced today. Indian FTTI student film Sunflowers Were the First Ones to Know is also competing against the 17 other films. What is expected out there?
Well, we will know who the winner is today, and expectations again are high of India from this because, like you said, Chidanand Nayak's Sunflowers were the first ones to know. A Kannada film based on a folk tale from Karnataka is competing for the Lasanef award. India had won this award in 2020 for Cat Dog, which was made by another FDI alumna, Ashmita. So it is not the first time that India is hopeful of getting the award. India has already made it in the past, but every year is a new year and expectations are high. I spoke to the team about the challenges in videography particularly, and Suraj Thakur, who did the cinematography for the film, who was the director of photography, told me that there were several challenges encountered. One, they wanted to zero in on the right kind of village. The time period was not known, so they scouted 50 to 60 locations and they zeroed in on a village. But there were challenges in terms of road connectivity, network connectivity, electricity connections, and they didn't have the generator for all the time for them, so they for light, they had to use fire as well as moonlight. So there were quite a few challenges in that context. To tell you a little about the storyline of this particular film, Sunflowers, well, this is around a folktale from Karnataka, and this is around a granny who steals the village's rooster, throwing the community into disarray, and then a prophecy is invoked to get the rooster back, sending her family into exile. And a little of the storyline of All We Imagine Is Light as well, because that is competing for Palm d'Or. So as far as that is concerned, it revolves around two women from Kerala who are working in a nursing home in Mumbai, and the rest, of course, we would know once the first screening here takes place.
Well, thank you so much, Munmun, for all that information from Cannes. And on to some business news now. Several key Asian share benchmarks fell on Thursday as markets digested the implications of policymakers in major economies preferring to take patient approach to monetary easing amid sticky inflation. More hawkish than expected minutes of the Federal Reserve's latest policy meeting, a hot UK inflation print and a sobering assessment of New Zealand's inflation problems from the country's central bank have caused investors to pair their bets off the pace and scale of global rate cuts expected this year. Data on Wednesday showed inflation in Britain eased less than expected and a key core measure of prices barely dropped, prompting investors to pull bets on a Bank of England rate cut next month. Well, you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. In IPL, Rajasthan Royals ended Royal Challengers Bengaluru's eventful campaign in the Indian Premier League with a 4-wicket run in the eliminator in Ahmedabad on Wednesday. Sent to bat, Royal Challengers Bengaluru scored 172 for 8. In reply, Rajasthan Royals chased down the target of 173 with 6 balls to spare. 2008 winners Royals will face Sunrisers Hyderabad in Chennai on Friday for a place in the IPL final to be played on Sunday. And a stunning Ademola Lookman hat-trick handed Atalanta the Europa League title on Wednesday, just the second major trophy in their 117-year history. After a 3-0 win over Bayer Leverkusen that ended the German champions' remarkable unbeaten streak. After this treble, the former England under-21 winger, who now represents Nigeria at international levels, has netted 15 goals in each of his 2 seasons with Atalanta. The London-born Nigeria winger became only the 6th player to score a hat-trick in the European final, the first since Jupp Heynckes for Borussia Mönchengladbach in the 1975 UEFA Cup, with all 3 goals in the Italian side's win over Bayer Leverkusen in Dublin. Well, the French Open starts next week and the men's single draw is set to feature Rafael Nadal for one final time. With 14 championships to his name, the clay courts in Paris have been a happy hunting ground for the 37-year-old Spaniard, who says he expects to retire after the 2024 season. DD India correspondent Ross Cullen reports for more.
Well, the question on everybody's lips in terms of the men's draw here in Paris will be, can Rafael Nadal win a 15th men's singles title? Unprecedented numbers. He's already won 14 Roland Garros's since back in 2005, his first title when he was a teenager, looking to see if he can win and finalise his career here in Paris with another title. It would take him to 23 Grand Slams in total, still trying to chase down Novak Djokovic, who's on 24. Maybe the two of them will meet at some point in the final. That will be the question. Also, though, the man who is tipped to replace Rafael Nadal as the most exciting, the highest ranked Spaniard on tour, Carlos Alcaraz. It'll be worth watching to see if he's able to make progress. Jannik Sinner potentially impacted by injury, though. In terms of the women's draw, hard to look past Iga Swiatek, the world number one. The women's title winner here in 2022. In 2023, can she win a third on the spin? Can she win her fourth French Open title? But the story really will be Rafael Nadal. Can he round off his career with another win that would take him to 15 French Open titles? And the action begins this coming Sunday on the 26th of May. Ross Cullen in Paris reporting for DD India.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Vipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.